That's the move coming in right now on the market. But let's connect with Peter McGuire, who has joined us on such short notice right now. Peter McGuire, CEO of australiatrading.com. Peter, hi, first of all, thank you so much for your time. Thanks so much for joining us at such short notice. What are you making of these comments that we're seeing coming in from both parties, US as well as Iran? You've got US's comments. Trump has said that they've had some great meetings. They've attacked Iran very powerfully last night, and Iran shot at ships, which is why US instigated this attack. He's made a whole lot of comments on NATO as well. First of all, how are you reading into these comments, and what impact do you think it's going to have on oil especially?
Well, Sneha, I've got to say a couple of things. First off, we've got to look at price. And price is the determinant from the actions and the reactions, and naturally President Trump's comments. And I've got to, we're up 4.5% for WTI and Brent. So they're big moves to the upside after what we experienced last night in New York. So I take on board his comments as far as NATO and Turkey. He's certainly, it's a little bit of saber rattling on many fronts. And it's going to be, again, interesting over the next 24 to 36 hours what the market perceives as far as market sentiment. Is it going to be further bullishness? And what's going to be the reaction and the time frame from anything from Iran? So everyone's sitting there, everyone's long at the moment because of the geopolitical tensions, and we've just got to see how long that this particular situation, whether it creates more turbulence or it settles down. That's the unknown.
Peter, hi, this is Harsh also joining in. The key here being we've gotten used to everything that's played out already, right? Given the way things have played out over the last couple of months, we've gotten used to the Strait of Hormuz being closed, for example. How much of a dent, this 5% uptick on Brent, do you believe it goes back to 85? Do you believe it goes back to 90? Where do we settle in at? Because no longer an unusual situation, if I can call it that.
Well, exactly, Hirsch. And, we all understand what we've lived through. Everyone's lived through in the last 3 to 4 months. We're very mindful as far as the current situation, how it can really escalate quickly. Is 85 possible? I'm going 80, and I think 80 is probably a lot easier to get to 80 than it is to 70. So I feel as though a couple of dollars. Let's review it in the next matter of days and see whether this has got more horsepower to the upside and that's going to be reaction time. So what Iran does, what comments further come out from President Trump and his administration, and what the market deems. I want to see what happens in New York tonight. That's going to be the telltale, whether it actually goes further to the upside or it takes a little bit of a breather. And at the moment, everyone's long.
Note, what would your prediction be on how much oil can spike before there is some sort of cool off once again? We've seen Brent reach close to $70 a barrel level, and after that it's spiked up once again. As of now, it's a 5% spike, and close to $78 a barrel is where Brent is. Any projections that you have newly built in to accommodate this situation that we're seeing brewing right now?
Well, over the next couple of days, I wouldn't be surprised to take an 80 to, say, $81 out. Let's just see. But, that's still a fair way to move, but it could happen very quickly because if things magnify and this creates more turbulence, more uncertainty, market sentiment, all of these factors with geopolitical, it's a bit unhinged at the moment. We've just got to see whether this has got the capacity to push higher from that. But, we're all watching the screens. We're all participating and understanding that it seems to be far more bullish than bearish at the moment. And, it's been a very dynamic last, 18 hours on the market.
You're penciling in $81 to $82 a barrel for Brent. What would your projection be for precious commodities, gold and silver? Usually when equity markets are under pressure, you've seen commodities do well, but so far that has not been the case for gold and silver, who've continuously been seeing a softening trend. Do you believe this event right now could lead to a reversal and maybe we could see some strength back on gold?
Well, I want to see what happens as far as US bond rates, the 4.55 for a 10-year. I want to see what happens with US dollar index as well and where the equity markets trend tonight. Gold, it's been very range bound. It's been tight channel down to 3,900, back to 4,200. If it breaks out to above 4,250, then I'm going to be interested. But at the short term, I'm still sitting here just observing and looking at what all the other factors, how they create again either the horsepower to push gold higher, or do we go and just see it stay range bound with its silver as well?
Okay. Peter, thank you so much for coming in and giving us that perspective. Another 5 to 6% essentially is what Peter sees on crude. And